What's up, Mob Crew? I'm Chris, and today's missing person case is Don. Also, today's person of interest is Olivia. Today's missing person case is Courtney.
Hi, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys can hear me, put a thumbs up or one in the chat. Thank you guys so much. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. I cover murder, mystery to the paranormal. And wow, what a day. Going to be covering the Murdoch trial. Alex Murdoch took the stand today, and it was wild. Just curious, let me know if you did watch the trial. If you didn't, we're going to play a little bit of highlights. There's some things that I wanted to focus on today's video. Today will be a little bit different than my normal shows. Usually I'm a little more prepared, but I wanted to, since he took the stand and admitted that he had lied, and it seems like he kind of covered up a lot of the holes in the times. I noticed now, instead of him going and checking on the bodies, he apparently calls 911 while he's checking the bodies. I'm still not even 100% on that. It's like he goes out to check on them, but then he's not out there for too long, and then he calls 911, and then he's going to check on them. But there's problems with that we can address, just because you have the echo in the car, which means he's in the vehicle for quite a bit. So some of these things still don't add up, and then one of the big ones is when everybody gets home and what they do before they go to the kennels. And that's what we're going to start on, because it was like how many activities that they do in between this little small time frame, and then they get out there by 8:44. I don't know. It doesn't add up. So but if you missed it, we're just going to look at some highlights, not the whole trial of today, but I really want to focus on just that when Maggie gets home and what he says that they do, and see if we can, because there's some discrepancies in my opinion on that, and then the discrepancies on when he finds the bodies. There's a couple of them, and I know somebody talked about the bloody fingertips. Yes, that's a big one, because if you got bloody fingertips, if anybody's, I've had just a cut finger or a bloody nose, you get blood everywhere, just from a bloody nose or cut finger. You know what, the last time I can think of cut myself is when I was looking for Dylan Rounds and accidentally stuck my finger in a Coke bottle like this, and it was open, and I kind of cut myself on the rim. And, it wasn't a deep cut, but it was a decent cut just on one finger. But, I got blood everywhere, And so the fact that, there's no blood on him or anything and on his phone, it's just, I don't know, raises more red flags. So thank you guys so much. Before we get started, we always like to feature the missing real quick. So we'll get started with that. And then we'll jump into some of the highlights, and going to try to make this a little more interactive. And then also today, me and Steve last night, because we didn't know he was going to take the stand, so we were actually working on a new experiment that we got done last night. Of course, more credit goes to Steve from True Crime Web. We may have found another time frame that, in our opinion, that Alex may have took the phone, Maggie's phone, over to where it was found. And after just doing some experiments, I am definitely almost more lenient towards this new time frame, which the way we kind of more credit goes to Steve, is amazing. So that's what we were going to do today, but I don't know if we'll have time to jump on that. That might be just a video I put out tonight or tomorrow, probably tomorrow. All right, so quickly, just going to feature the missing. So we've got Sarah Stewart, who went missing out of Mesa, Arizona. She was last seen on February 12th. Apparently, they said somebody called the mother saying that they found her or something, but I guess that was wrong. So I think she's still missing. She's just 26 years old. She was driving a white Buick Verano, 2017, Arizona plates. Sadly, she was last seen on Super Bowl Sunday, and they have not seen her since. So if you have any information, please call 602-876-1011. And that is Mesa, Arizona. Okay, so we will get into it. We got, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and pin that message. Thank you, Nightbot. And just a reminder one more time, we are... try not to use all caps. You know, if you do OMG, that's fine, but try not to use all caps in a whole sentence. YouTube takes that as a negative. And so we got Nightbot kind of doing its thing where it will kind of time you out if you use more than 8 to 10 letters. So please try not to use all caps because it will time you out. We have one exception for one of our viewers, which is Geneva. But for everybody else, just try not to go over that 8 in one comment. What's up, Tom? I hope everyone has an awesome day. My brother has, oh my gosh, has stage 4 colon cancer. So not much time to do much else. I'm so sorry to hear that, buddy. Oh, my prayers to you and your family, buddy. Tom has been an amazing supporter of this channel. Huge. I am so sorry. Anything I can do, buddy. Gosh, man, that sucks to hear that. Dang. My prayers. Please show some prayers for Tom and his family. That's, as I said, he has been an amazing supporter for this channel. And I am so sorry, buddy, to hear that. Dang, that's a bummer. Okay. Dang, that sucks. Alright, I hope you do better, buddy. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get this pulled up.
The corn in the Duff field.
Okay. So let me move this down. And then let me know how the chat speed is, guys. Mods. I've got it at 25. Let me know how that is. Only 43 years old. Oh, man, that's terrible. Like I said, my prayers, buddy. Let's hope miracles do happen. Okay, so I'm going to start, like I said, the main focus today is when Maggie gets home, when they all get home. And I'm going to see if, while we're playing this, I'm going to quickly build just a little timeline. Because remember, she gets home at 8:17, and then we have the video of the kennel video start at 8:44, and I forget the seconds. I'll look it up in just a second. So there's not much time. That's only 27 minutes. And how much they apparently do in between these 10 and 27 minutes doesn't add up to me. So I'm kind of curious to get your guys' thoughts on this. So we'll kind of get it started here. I'm going to go ahead and skip it forward. Here we got that one guy that he kind of is like, they used to be kind of best friends. I forget his name, but you know, he was really disappointed. You know, he had to kind of fork up some of his own money. But this is one of the people that Alex had stolen from. And man, his watching him, because they kept pointing the camera over to him, and I was trying to read his face, and it's tough to read how to me, it doesn't seem like he's buying it. I don't know. Let me know in the chat. it was tough to read his face.
And the kennels.
Did you spend any time at the shop, you think?
Oh, yes. I mean, the shop was, that was sort of the hub.
Okay, so I have this turned up pretty well, so I'm going to turn it down. Let me know how the volume is. Chris, you need something, Karen? Oh. Is it Chris with a question mark? We all good, Karen? Guy's name is... Oh, Chris! Oh, you'd think I'd know that.
That was the main place. If you weren't at the house, you might be out going to this field or this food plot or this duck pond or...
No, Brother Randy... Is that... No, that isn't Brother Randy. Randy's the other one, isn't it? Is that his brother? I thought this is the guy that his good friend. Am I wrong? That is Randy? Okay, my bad.
Or this part of the river, but the shop is where the kennels were located. That was, you were always there. Something was always going on there. You're always doing something there. That's
that is
where
Randy.
all the tools
Okay.
were. That's where all the equipment was kept. That was the main hub.
Right.
And so we were there that day. There was a point in time where we unloaded a bulldozer that had been on a different part of the property. It was on a trailer. We unloaded it and sprayed it down real quick. That was just one of the many things we did that day.
One of the things the jury's seen, Alec, is a Snapchat video of you and doing something with a tree. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And so what was happening there?
That's just part of when we were riding that particular location.
Okay, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit. He's talking about when him and Paul are there and they're checking on the dove field. I took my notes for today, so just to show you guys, let's see. Here's page 1, and then page 2. I went to town on notes again, and anyway, like I said, I just want to really focus on when Maggie gets there. So here he talks about him and Paul and what they do. And of course, he goes back and reverts to that we drove and drove. He opens up a little bit more than the first time when, he was getting interrogated. But then he kind of reverts to the drove and drove thing again. And then for some reason, we've never ever heard him refer to his son as Pawpaw. But now all of a sudden, Pawpaw has been taking over Twitter. But now all of a sudden, it's like he's trying to, relate to the jury and stuff.
Where that is at a food plot.
I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this to closer to Maggie. Okay.
And what did you do when you got to the house?
I saw Mags, talked to Mags, and I took...
Okay, I'm just going to back it up just a little bit.
Paul was passionate about a lot of things, but that property was really a passion of his. He loved to work it. He loved to work with fields. He loved to work with food plots. He loved to hunt. He'd work on the road.
Okay, I know what I'm going to do. There it is. Perfect. Okay, that's what I need. All right. I'm just going to put this over my head here. So here's our basic timeline, and so right now we are at 8:17. This is what, let me make this a little bigger here. This is where I find some discrepancies in my opinion. So, because remember, we know for a fact that she came home at 8:17. She gets her car turns off at 8:17. Now he says that once she gets home, they're kind of still out there playing around, but they do come back. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
He would work on all of it. He would work on the structure. He worked on the whole property. It was his passion.
So on the evening of the 7th, jury's been inundated with data from various different sources, but
Sure.
just ballpark, can you, knowing what we know now after reviewing everything, but roughly when do you remember Paul getting there and you getting there and starting to ride the property?
Now that I've had the benefit of seeing all of these records, Paul got home, I believe, a little bit before 7 o'clock. And I got home a little bit before him. I think the details had been that I got home around 6:42 or 6:45 or something like that, and Paul got there very quickly thereafter,
Yep.
And then,
by 7 o'clock.
Yep.
so you rode the property for a while. Do you remember when Maggie arrived?
Yeah, it was later than that. It was 8 or after 8. I think it was after 8 and looking at the records. A little bit after 8.
And do you remember her arriving or where you were when she arrived?
I believe that I was at the shop when she came through.
Okay, so he's at the shop, which is next to the kennels. So if she arrives at 8:17, that means he's, close to the shop kennels. So he's at least approximately a minute away, depending on what you're taking, or, if you're Mr. Flash, which he's going to turn into here in a minute. But anyway, so we're at 8:17, and so clearly it's going to take him at least a minute if he just left right then to get home.
Which would not be unusual for her, having been away. If Blanca had gotten the mail or somebody had gotten the mail, maybe not. But if somebody had not gotten the mail, it would be perfectly normal for her to pull through there. And I believe she did pull through there that day. And Paul and I were at the shop, I believe.
And then what?
Okay, so he says that she actually pulled into the kennels because I guess the mailbox is by the kennels entrance, because there's there's actually, I think, multiple entrances. But the main two are the brick entrance, the main entrance, and then the one to the right of it, if you're facing it, which is the kennels. Then he's saying that he believes that she came in through the kennels way, and then obviously went to the house while they're at the garage.
What did you do after Maggie arrived?
Maggie went to the house, and I know that. But shortly after, however I learned that Maggie got home, I went to the house when Maggie got home, and I left Paul at the shop.
So, and what did you do when you got to the house?
I saw Mags, talked to Mags, and I took a shower.
Okay, so here we're gonna this is, like I said, there's 3 parts to the show today. We're gonna focus on this little time frame of 8:17 to 8:44, because the amount of stuff that he says that they do between 8:17 and 8:44, unless you're, like I said, you're Mr. Flash, I don't think this is possible. So I'm just curious in the chat. Let me know how long it takes you guys to take a shower. I would say I'm pretty quick. I'm a boy, I'm a guy. I'm pretty in and out. I would say on a faster time, maybe 5-6 minutes. I would say my average 8, no longer than 10. I'm pretty quick, but I know I've had some roommates still take, an easy 10-minute shower, or at least, 10 minutes to, 8-minute shower, a couple minutes to change. But me, I would say, on a quicker one, 5 minutes. So curious, let me know. What you guys, 10, 15? All right, and I'm going to write down the average of what I see, 20 minutes. And just shower and change, just shower and change your clothes. So 5-8 minutes. Okay. Oh, 25, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. So I think we'll put 10 minutes. We're going to go easy on, Murdoch here. We'll put 10, 20, 25, 30 minutes, man.
The clothes that we saw in that Snapchat video was that the clothes you had at work that day?
5-8 minutes.
Those are the clothes I had on at
Trying
work
to be
that
quick.
day.
Yeah.
And the jury's seen you in those clothes, and what's on June 7th. How tall were you, and how much did you weigh?
On June 7th, well, I'm a hair over 6'4", right at 6'4". On June the 7th, I was about 265 pounds, 264, 265.
And this was in June, June 7th.
Yes, sir.
You know, when you're outside, riding around and do you get hot and sweaty?
Absolutely. I mean, Paul and I had done some things. We unloaded the bulldozer, cleaned the bulldozer. We fooled around. Yeah, I mean, I sweated. I was heavy, and taking prescription pills also makes you sweat worse, or at least
Okay, so I'm going to skip it forward here a little bit.
always on the go. I mean, he never sat still. And
So the one thing we can give him a break on is dinner is made. Now I'm assuming they would have to heat it up because she made it like earlier in the morning or early afternoon, or excuse me, before noon. The housekeeper, because she got there early and then made dinner for them for later on. So the dinner's ready, but I'm assuming they would at least have to warm it up, right? I usually like to have my, meals warm. So I'm assuming that's going to take, even if they microwave it, so a couple minutes to microwave food and then to eat it. Now, the way they describe them to eat is they all go sit down. So we're going to listen to this.
he'd sit down to eat, but then he's going on to his next item.
And
So then Maggie and I ate.
and do you all eat at the table? Do you eat at the den? What's your normal habit?
We would do both, but I mean, when we ate at the table, it was really sort of more formal or
And this is the last meal you have with your son and wife. I would think you would remember this. I think, in my opinion, you would know, what exactly. In my opinion, I understand shock, but I would think you would remember this.
not formal, but just more of an organized thing. What we would normally do on a regular evening is we would eat in the den in front of the TV. And that's where we ate that day. I ate on the couch, the table. Maggie had a little a TV tray that she kept over there, and Paul would usually sit in a recliner. And
So they got their food. I'm assuming either warmed it up, maybe not. But they got their food and they sat down, watched a little TV while eating. All right, so we have a 10-minute shower. So maybe they're warming the food up. We're going to give as much leeway to him because to fit this into 27 minutes is not happening right now, in my opinion. So we already have a 10-minute shower. So now we only have 17 minutes before that video is being recorded. And now they're going to eat dinner. Now on a fast time, just curious if, for those that got the boys that eat and chow down real fast, how much time would you give them? 5-10 minutes? Let me know in the chat. I would think 10 minutes easy to sit down and eat dinner.
and eat off of the ottoman.
Was the TV on?
Yes,
Was that normal for the TV to be on?
yes. TV. If we were in the house, TV was on.
So what happened next, Alec?
Paul moved on doing whatever he was doing. I don't know if he was in the gun room doing something or he was
10 minutes,
in
okay?
his room doing something. He was outside doing something. I actually thought he'd gone to the shed, but in looking at the shop, but in looking at the benefit of having these records that we have, I know he was still at the house or somewhere around the house doing something, but he wasn't in there with Maggie and I.
Okay, so we're getting up to the good stuff, all right? Thank you so much. Let me get your name real quick here. Latest Grace, your content is always very well done. Thank you, Chris and Mob Crew. Thank you so much, Grace. That is so sweet of you. And one more real quick. Southern Gal True Crime. I love that name. Thank you so much for the super chat. You are so awesome. Okay, so now it sounds like Paul has kind of left already. Maybe Paul and Maggie, I'm assuming, I think, is what happens. But then, he still hasn't left yet, which we're going to be adding some more time on. Let me grab this real quick too. Julie Stuckey, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. Okay, and my mods are saying slow the chat. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this while I go and slow the chat. Thank you so much, Julie.
But Maggie wanted to go to the kennels, and I had eaten dinner. I laid back on the couch where I was sitting. Maggie wanted to go to the kennels, and she asked me to go, and I didn't go at that time. I didn't want to go.
Why didn't you want to go?
It was hot. I just had a shower. I knew I'd end up doing more work, sweating more, and the dogs is always a chaotic scene, and I just didn't want to go right then.
Well, let me ask you, what had you done the previous days, like Friday and Saturday and Sunday?
Start with Friday or go backwards?
Yeah. Start with Friday.
Okay, I'm gonna skip this forward. I don't know why he's going and bringing him back. You know, we're so I'm gonna skip this forward here until we get back to that night. They can start talking about what they do on nights or weekends or something. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it sounds like after he's taken a shower, so we'll say 10 minutes, then eaten, and sitting on the couch while they're eating. So it's not just like, hey, you know, we got pizza here, we're just gonna quickly munch down. You know, they go and sit down according to him. To me, I would say 15 minutes, but we'll let it slide and say 10 minutes. So we've already got 20 minutes. You know, we've got 7 minutes left here, and not to mention you've got to minus at least a minute for him to get to the house. It's not adding up to me.
At the time, I didn't, but now looking at these condensed records and understanding the timeline, it's clear to me that she rode with Pawpaw.
Okay. And did you stay in the house?
Yes.
For how long?
Not long. I laid back on the couch, put my feet up, and like many times when Maggie asked me to do something that I didn't want to do or didn't start out doing, I changed my mind and decided I'm going to ride up there. And I did.
And how did you get to the kennels?
I went on a golf cart.
Okay, but before that, sorry, that kind of came fast. He was laying on the couch watching some TV. So 5 minutes there, and we've already pretty much we've already hit basically 8:44 because we got to. If he's driving on a golf cart, it goes at max 25 miles an hour. And usually it seems like it takes them, according to the SUV, it takes about just like 50 seconds to drive from the kennels to the house to the kennels or vice versa. Golf cart, I'm assuming about this close, if not a minute. So already it's 8:44, and that's giving him every kind of leeway as possible with the 10-minute shower and dressing, and then the quick 10-minute eat, and then he's going to lay on the couch while they leave. To me, in my personal opinion, this is already past 8:44, and yet he's supposed to be on this video at 8:44. It just doesn't add up in my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. Now, I definitely think they ate the food. What I'm saying is he didn't shower. This is obviously he needed to fit this. He needed to put this in my opinion. So he changed his clothes. That makes the most sense because he's got to make up for when he, why he changed his clothes. Why we see him in one set of clothing at 7:38 in the Snapchat video, and then in the kennel, or when we see him in the first responders video, he's got different clothing. So here he had to squeeze in that shower, and now with all that mixed in there, to me it doesn't all fit. Kata Lack, I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for becoming a member, and let me know how the chat is, guys. I slowed it down. It should be good. Yeah, I did. I definitely agree. They did do a poopy job. There's no denying that. Sadly, and they may have been able to secure more items and evidence.
Was the golf cart at the house, the main house?
Yeah, it was, and it was there most of the time.
And when you got down to the kennels, what was happening?
It's just what I thought it was. It was a little bit of chaos. I mean, it was clear to me that Mags had just let the dogs out. The two dogs that were out were really her pet dogs. One is Grady. You've heard about a black lab. That's Grady. That's Buster's dog. And the other is the yellow lab that you've heard about. That's Bubba. Bubba was mine and Maggie's dog, but it was really mine, Maggie's, Bus, and Pawpaw's dog. It was a family dog. But Bubba's the dog I hunted. Maggie loved Bubba. She loved Grady too, but she had a special place for Bubba. But anyway, when the dogs first were let out, the first thing they would do is they would run. If you look at the overhead picture that you've seen, there were planted pines right behind the kennels. So you got the kennels and the chicken coop sort of form an L shape. And in that L was some planted pines. First thing the dogs would do is go out in that kennel, and Bubba and Grady, I think, learned this from Bubba, but Grady would do it too. But Bubba had to mark every tree. He would go and he'd do a little number on this tree and that tree. You know how dogs do. And this.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and skip it forward a little bit here.
Paul's fooling with Rogan's dog Cash. Maggie's just kind of standing there watching the dogs, which is normal. And they were in that place. As the dogs are out longer, they branch out more. But at that point in time, they were right there.
And this is crucial. I just got to say one thing. Now that we know that he took the golf cart out there, I think this is really huge because, like I said, I was going to do a video in courtesy of Steve from True Crime Web because, we did the phone toss yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Just to see, if you could toss the phone 20 feet, which is easily done. And, it, with a basic phone case, it doesn't destroy it. So it could easily done 40 miles an hour, toss 20 feet off the road. Of course, the prosecution thinks that happened just after he leaves, after the shootings happened. But we were going back and looking at some data just right after the shootings, and we may have a possible second scenario of when he could have, in our opinions, tossed that phone out. And we did some experiments, and super excited to show you guys. It won't be today because I've got to put it together because I didn't know he was going to take the stand, but I think you guys will find it very fascinating. We'll probably play that tomorrow. Credit to Steve from True Crime Web.
Told me they hadn't been out.
It could be. Yeah, totally.
Bubba catches a chicken.
Totally.
I'm talking to Maggie for just, a short time before Bubba catches the chicken. I take the chicken, I put it, when Bubba didn't chase, these dogs didn't chase the chickens to kill them. And they didn't normally kill them. They did kill them sometimes, but it was about the chase with those dogs. And they were proud when they caught one. You could just...
Yes, I'm going to skip this forward a little bit more. He literally changed his whole alibi on stand. Right. Thank you so much, Blue Eyes. Exactly. It's like they had to fix... I swear it's like... I'm not that conceited. But it's almost like they watched our videos or, someone's videos that, poked holes into these timelines. And... it just so happens that they cleaned up, when he changed, and then this, especially the whole how he finds the bodies, which we're going to get to here in just a minute, of how it's kind of not even quite clear when he's checking the bodies, because he's like, well, I get out of the car, we'll get to it here in a minute, but I love how, because we knew there's no way 17 seconds, according to him, how he told it the first time, that he went and checked on their pulses and everything, then he called 911. There was, we did that test, there's no way, and now that's changed as well, which I don't understand why you would need to lie about that. To me, that does not make sense.
Tell by the way Bubba would prance to you when he brought chicken to you. He was proud that he had caught it, but he wasn't trying to kill it. And so most times the chicken wasn't dead, and that chicken wasn't dead. But a lot of times they would be stunned and they would be just real lethargic. So you had to take the chicken and you had to put it up somewhere where, the chicken could be by itself for a minute, and it would eventually, usually, come back to normal and go on about its, whatever a chicken does.
Did you get the chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
I did. I took the chicken from Bubba and I put it on top of that.
Now
we've seen, this video.
Okay, so obviously the Bubba video, should we play it once? I guess we could just play it real quick. I don't think they played it. Do I have it ready? We'll just play it once. This is...
The video looks like inside a dog tail.
Oh, wait. No. That's the audio. Oh, here we go. What's up? All right, I'll just play it one time. So, who was at their kennels. Paul thought there was something wrong with Cash's tail and decided that he would take a video of the dog to send to Rogan. This video was taken at approximately 8:44 and 49 seconds, which is a 50-second video. In this video is where we learn that not only... So that means this video's taken... Now remember, it starts... Or does it finish at 8:44? I'll have to look into that. Paul and Maggie were at the kennels, 44. But there's a third voice heard, 49. And that is Alex Murdoch.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth! Bubba.
Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
He is clearly calling the family dog's name Bubba. Okay. So that's basically, by the time it's finished, it's 8:45. Now, according to the prosecution and from our experiments, we think, it started most likely at 8:49, the shootings. So he's only got 4 minutes, really, less than 4 minutes to get out of there to... before this, somebody comes onto his property and shoots his son and wife, and the timing of that, just this one little minute, couple minute window where he leaves is when they get shot.
The corn in the Dove field. So,
talk about bad timing or just too coincidental. Okay, so let me get back to where we were at here.
a series of tracking collars, and I think there were 5. It might have been 6.
Okay, so we talked about Bubba. Then he's going to talk about the collars.
Chicken out of Bubba's mouth.
I got out of there.
Okay, this is...
And so Paul probably would have been the one to put that on Bubba.
So you've got us where you've gotten the chicken out of Bubba's mouth and put it up on a doghouse or something?
I believe what I put it on, and I don't remember this, but I've seen pictures and all this, and I saw the chicken sitting on top of the what looks to me like a portable dog crate. Wherever it was sitting on there is where I would have put it up there. You know, have any reason to believe anybody else moved that chicken, and it ultimately, that chicken did die.
And what did you do after you got the chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
I got out of there.
He got out of there. He's like, I'm out. I feel like something's going to happen. I'm out of there. I drove as fast as I could. I find the way that he worded that very, very odd, very interesting. He's like, I'm out of there. I'm gone. I was never there. So it's got to be at least 8:46. I mean, the video starts at 8:44 and 49 seconds. The dog's got the chicken and he's handling the chicken. So, it'd take him at least 30 seconds, I would think, at the very least, to get the chicken and then go set it down on the coop. So we're looking at 8:45, maybe 8:46. And now I believe he's going to take the golf cart back, which would put him... So if we're at 8:46 and then maybe a minute to get back home, it's 8:47. We're talking 2 minutes before. And that's just really giving him every leniency in the book of him just getting out of there. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm not even going to say bye, and not say what I'm going to be doing. We're not even going to talk about how I asked Maggie to come over because I wanted her to come with me to go see, my mother and father, who, the father's terminal. There's no kind of conversation between them before he leaves. That, to me, that does not make sense. Let me know in the chat what you guys think. But the way he says that, like, I'm out of there, No, hey, I might be going to my mom's house, like we talked about earlier on the phone, Maggie. If you want to come, I'm going to go get ready. None of that. He's out of there. To me, it's just, I don't know, sounds too convenient. I'm going to play that one more time.
All this, and I saw the chicken sitting on top of the what looks to me like a portable dog crate. Wherever it was sitting on there is where I would have put it up there. Have any reason to believe anybody else moved that chicken, and it ultimately, that chicken did die.
And what did you do after you got the chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
I got out of there. I left. I went back to the house.
All right. Well, before we do that, we've seen the dog kennel video with Cash and Mr. Davis, and we slowed it down for him. Do you see the water hose in that video on the ground? Do you remember seeing that?
Yes, I do.
Was the water hose out?
Obviously, in the video, but I don't specifically remember that, but I can look in that video and see it.
Right.
But that's not something that I noticed.
So, but you've seen it in the video here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the two dogs were out.
Oh, wait, did I miss that because somebody was messaging me? Is this where he says the host thing real quick? I'm sorry. I want to go back one more time. My apologies.
There's where I would have put it up there. Have any reason to believe anybody else moved that chicken, and it ultimately, that chicken did die.
Oops, I went back.
And what did you do after you got the chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
I got out of there.
Sorry, it's a big video, so if I go back
left.
just a
I
little
went back
bit.
to the house.
All right. Well, before we do that, we've seen the dog kennel video with Cash and Mr. Davis, and we slowed it down for him. Do you see the water hose in that video on the ground? Do you remember seeing that?
Yes, I do.
Was the water hose out?
Obviously, in the video, but I don't specifically remember that, but I can look in that video and see it.
Right.
But that's not something that I noticed.
So, but you've seen it in the video here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then the two dogs were out.
Absolutely. Bubba and Grady.
And then
Okay, he must say it later, but he's going to actually say that he did not put the hose away. Keep that in mind. That is huge, because I noticed when I was watching it live and I was kind of chatting with Law and Crime, and I know there's people out there that think he's innocent, and everybody has their right to their opinions. And like I said, when I started this, I was 60-40. I mean, I could see it either way just because of how crazy everything is that evolves around this family. especially in the last 10 years or whatever. But clearly, after doing all our experiments and breaking down his interviews, to me, in my opinion, I think he's guilty. And yep. Okay, thank you. I lost my train of thought. Okay. Anyway, thanks, Jennifer. Yes, I see the gifted memberships. Thank you, Kate-Elect, so much for the 5 memberships. I don't know why I can't highlight you. My thing's kind of disappearing here. So thank you so much for the gifted memberships and supporting that channel. That's so sweet of you. And Blue Eyes, I missed your previous one. Isn't your memory best right after the incident? Right. I mean, I understand some shock and stuff, but you would think you would remember some of your last moments with your family, in my opinion. But, you know, that's just my opinion. So I had a thought, and I was going somewhere, and I forgot.
You head back. How did you get back to the house?
The same route. I mean, the same route I'd come on. I came down the driveway, made a left on. You saw my route in the car. I drove that same route.
My question obviously wasn't clear enough. What were you in a vehicle? You walked? What mode of transportation did you use to get back to the house?
Same way I came. I went back in the golf cart.
Okay, this is huge, and well, I got to save this clip because when me and Steve were talking about this new possible scenario of when he might have tossed the phone, the golf cart fits in perfect with this. And so, like I said, we'll share that tomorrow. But yes, the hose, that's what I was talking about. Yes. So he says the hose was put away, and I was in the Long Crime in their chat and watching the comments, and then some of the people that do think he's innocent, and when they bring up the bloody fingerprints, which is the next section we're going to get into. Like I said, we got 3 sections. We just kind of watched the first. That's the time of, in my opinion, there's no way between 8:17 and 8:44 he had enough time to eat, shower, lay back on the couch, and now he's at the kennels all of a sudden, and he could do that in 27 minutes or less. In my opinion, that's just, of course they had to fit all that in there for him to change his clothes. I think everything else did happen. I just don't think he showered. I don't think, there's just no way. I didn't even think they'd had enough time to eat to be able to get over to the kennels. So I thought that was fast, a little too fast. But anyway, yeah, so with the bloody fingerprints, as we're going to get to, remember, he says that he did not touch the hose. Somebody else put the hose away. So he's saying either Maggie or Paul puts the hose away, which I think is going to be huge.
And it is the golf cart. If you remember that Mark Ball testified that he saw where we normally would park it. You pull along the front entrance, and either you come in from the left and you go just past it and be on the right, or you come in from the right and you'd be just past it on the left. And that's where I got in it, and that's where I put it back.
Did you do anything else before leaving? Right. After you took the chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
No.
We've heard about Bubba being stubborn. How long did it take you to get chicken out of Bubba's mouth?
Well, Bubba could be stubborn, but Bubba would listen to me. And another thing, when Bubba had on that collar, one of the other features of that collar was...
What did Bubba?
Okay, so now we're going to skip forward now, because now he's left. And then, if he's innocent, that is the worst timing in the world for him to leave just minutes, literally a minute before the shootings happen, and he just happens to be in an area where he can't hear them. My question would be, if this is true, how is it that they just knew that the timing? And how did Alex not see anybody? Because he's going to be leaving here real soon to go to his mother's. I mean, if this all went down... he didn't see anything, didn't hear anything.
Have on the collar, or was it Grady?
Bubba.
So we'll go ahead and skip forward here.
What were you doing when you stopped?
I was getting my phone. My phone had gotten there was a console in the middle of my car, and my phone had gotten down in the console, between the console and the seat where you...
Okay, let me back this up just a little bit. I thought this was kind of interesting here.
Moselle, is that correct?
That's correct.
Did you drive straight back to Moselle?
I did.
Now, Alec, there's some information from the telemetry data off your Suburban and perhaps some of this OnStar GPS data that indicates that at some point in time in your mother's driveway you stopped for about a minute. Do you recall seeing that data?
I did.
What were you doing when you stopped? Do
I
you
was
recall?
getting my phone. My phone had gotten... There was a console in the middle of my car, and my phone had gotten down in the console, between the console and the seat where you couldn't get to it.
Were you, during that minute or however long it was, were you disposing of murder weapons, Alec?
No.
Were you disposing of bloody clothes?
No.
And your ride back to Moselle, was it, were you driving faster than normal?
I was driving however I drive. Normal.
Okay, so I'm going to skip this forward. That's another video where I was going to look at is his drive to Almeida and just kind of his visit there. Oops. Okay, so now he's going to be getting back to the property.
Enter the property. What entrance did you use?
Came right back through the main gate.
And what'd you do then?
Went straight to the house.
And when you got to the house, what'd you do?
I went inside.
Were lights on when you pulled up? Or?
Lights were on in the house for sure. I can't remember if there were floodlights on or not. I don't believe there were any floodlights on, but there were definitely lights. All the lights in the house were on, yes.
And when you, how long did you stay inside the house, roughly?
Now that I've seen the benefit of these records, I was in there several minutes.
Obviously, I mean, were you surprised that Paul and Maggie had not made it back to the house?
You know, I don't know if surprised is the right word, but I mean, I thought they would have been back by then.
Keep in mind, he's called them. I wish I had the phone log. I wish I had enough room. But yeah, he's called, because remember he called it 904, 906, at least another, 2 times when he left his mother's. At least it's been at least 4 times, and a text message in there as well. Call me, babe. And not one response. And so he doesn't seem concerned at this point, which is odd.
You know, but I mean, did it cause me to go into any?
Let me grab this thing. I believe he will be found guilty. Oh man. I'm hoping for a tough cross. The way they started out was pretty good. I'm kind of excited to see what happens tomorrow. And then I noticed how Harpootlian was trying to fit in one of his expert witnesses just as the prosecution's getting some momentum with this cross-examination. And I love how he tried to fit everything of the financial into just today with the little time he had. And that way tomorrow he's going to focus on, a little bit of the financial and then get right into the, the shootings. And I think it's brilliant timing. Blue Eyes, I'm so sorry your thing got deleted by Nightbot, but thank you so much. I can't even get it. Just be careful on your caps if you can, Blue Eyes. Okay, I get everything. I think so. Okay. Oh, yes, exactly. Yeah. I agree, Perry. Totally. He's trying to,
It wasn't like I was shocked. But, I mean, I thought they would be there. I mean, I distinctly remember I went and looked. Sometimes I was very hot-natured. Number one, I was hot, I was heavy, and I was taking pills. So I was always hot. Maggie was always cold. Sometimes she would watch TV. We had a
Okay, let's skip this forward to a little bit more. Okay, so I'll be honest. Comparing an actor like Amber Heard, who can't act worth of to save her life, terrible acting and crying. He clearly can pull out the waterworks. I felt like he actually, for somebody that probably is on 50-50, would probably maybe believe his crying. He definitely pulled it out.
so bad.
But this is where the another inconsistency, and this is where, because like I said, we did that video because he told investigators that before he called 911, he checked on the bodies and he rolled Paul over and all that, and then he called 911. But we learned that there's only 17 seconds to do that, and we did a test. We actually did one where we had where we did Maggie and then Paul. Maggie first and then Paul, and we did it really fast. Even then, doing it really fast, he was able to do it with 17 seconds, but that wasn't him actually getting back to the car, because you got to remember, the phone call starts with him in the car. So anyway, okay, so he's just found the bodies, but now they're going to change up how he's checked on the bodies, which I find very convenient. Yeah.
Can I have some water?
I'm no behavior analyst, but one of the main things that we learn from the behavior analysts is dry mouth is a symptom of lying.
Yeah, I went to
I mean, maybe not all the time, but that is a condition. Slobbers all over himself. He gets out some tears. He does
you
this
see
time.
them on the ground when you're pulling up in your Suburban?
I did.
And what did you do when you came to a stop, Alec?
I think I jumped out of my car.
Okay. This is when you find your poor dead wife and son in brutal fashion, and me and Steve have mentioned this over and over and over again. You would think this would stick in this would be fried into your brain, in my opinion. Just like I said, I think this would be one of the most horrible experiences to find. And I think this would be seared into your memory, and you'd be able to remember pretty much the events for very detailed event.
I'm not exactly sure what I did, but no, I got out of my car. I know I ran back to my car, called 911. I called 911.
Right.
I was on the phone with 911. I was trying to tend to Paul. I was trying to tend to Maggie.
Okay, but there's a problem. And if we get a little bit of time, I'll show you. And then, we're going to talk about the blood on fingertips. Let's see, what time is it? 5:30. What time we start? At 4:30. Yeah, so, okay. I'm going to try to get this done by 6 o'clock. Gosh, time went by fast. But yeah, this takes a long while, but and I think they did this on purpose. I think he purposely, because it doesn't quite make sense. He's out of the car, he kind of checks on him for a second, but then he calls 911. But now he's checking on him while he's on 911. But and I'm gonna have to do this I'm gonna have to break it down in a short video. But you can tell when he's in the car and when he's not, because when he's out of the car, you can hear the dogs barking. But when he's in the car, not only do you not hear the dogs barking, but you can actually hear the echo, because that's the two receivers, the receiver on the cell phone and the receiver on the OnStar. So you get this echo, and when he first calls, you got the echo. And he's on there for a good minute. So to me, he calls 911, but then he goes back and checks. That's not exactly true. He's in the car for quite a bit.
And I just went back and forth between them.
Were you going to Paul and Maggie while
That's
you were on
exactly.
the phone with the 911 operators?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And in a little bit, I'm going to play the 911 tape, but I just want to ask you, and you've told law enforcement that's been played here in the court. Did you?
I heard
what
they
did
said
you
that
do when you
wasn't
went up to
him.
Paul at some point in time.
It'd be crazy if it was. Oh,
And
did they
Paul?
confirm? Oh.
Paul was so
They said no on Law and
So
Crime, but
bad.
maybe they didn't get a good look at him.
at some point. I know I tried to check him for a pulse.
Oops.
I know I tried to turn him over.
Yeah.
When you say you tried to turn him over, why were you trying to turn him over?
I don't know. I don't know why I tried to turn him over. Me and my boys laying face down. And he's done the way he's done. His head was the way his head was. I could see his brain laying on the sidewalk. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I tried to turn him over. So I grabbed him by the belt loop and tried to turn him over. And when I did, his phone popped out. His phone popped out. And I just picked it up and I put it right back there.
Do you have any idea how it popped out?
I mean, I know it came out of his pocket when I pulled on his belt loop. When I pulled him to turn him over, and it just popped out. And I mean, it popped right beside him. It sat right beside him.
Were you able to turn Paul?
So now, my opinion, and I've shown you this, and if you missed it, I can show you just a diagram if I have it here. Like I said, this is just completely an opinion and theory on why he rolled him away. Let's see, do I have it? Where are you? Might be in the Alex Murdoch folder. Let's see if I got it here. Is that one? Oh. Anyway, I believe it could have been in his to me, I think possibly if he was rolling him away from the kennels, maybe it's a possibility to put it in his right pocket, and that's why he rolled him away from the kennels. It just doesn't make sense why you would want to roll him away from the kennel and not towards the kennel, because I would think there's even... Because, you got to step over his body, and I don't know. To me, in my opinion, I think he was just trying to get to his phone, and that's just my opinion on that.
I mean, I didn't. I don't know if I was able to. I didn't turn him over. No.
What side of the on what side of Paul were you when you were doing this?
I was on I was on the side that was away from. I was on the side that was away from where my car was.
Okay, so now a question is he doing this while he's on the 911 call? They don't really clear this up. I don't know. I've got to rewatch this. I've only watched it once. Well, now it's kind of twice now. But is he on the 911 call right now? Because remember, he goes out to look at him for a second, but then he runs to call 911. And while he's on 911, he's checking on the bodies, apparently. But now you're rolling him over, and dead weight is heavy. I've never experienced it, but I've heard it's not easy to move somebody. And so is he doing this while he's on the 911 call?
Yeah.
What'd you do with the phone?
I put it back on Pawpaw.
You know, if you put it, you know which way it was pointing, upside down, downside, anyway.
Couldn't tell you anything about it. I know his phone popped out. I picked it up and I put it back on him.
Did you see any messages on Paul's phone?
No.
Did you go to Maggie?
Did.
Did you touch her?
I did.
Where did you touch Maggie?
I think I touched her down. It was around like. I don't know. If you ask.
So like I said, because if this is before the 911 call, then we go back to the scenario where he doesn't have enough time to do this. They're 32 and a half feet apart. His vehicle is parked. I had the math done before. From Maggie, we can kind of see the video. As a crow flies, maybe 8 feet, give or take, from Maggie's body. And he would have to run out, and of course he apparently goes to Paul first, so he's got to run over to Paul, who, if they're 32 and a half feet, so from his vehicle, approximately 38 feet from him, give or take. So he's got to go over there, he rolls him over, and then he goes to Maggie. He wouldn't have enough time before the 911 call, in my opinion, as we tested it. Even being fast, just running between two bodies 32 and a half feet, even just doing a quick test and then going back into the vehicle, it's not enough time. So now it's got to be, he has to be doing this while he's on the 911 call.
I mean, exactly. I think I touched her down around her waist, but I don't know.
Right?
So bad.
Everyone had a nickname for the chicken.
I mean, I know I went back and forth. I went back and forth between them.
Back and forth.
I know.
So he knows he went back and forth. Is this before 911 or during 911? If he's going back and forth, and I can tell you during the 911 call, if we get a chance, we'll listen to a portion of it. I can tell you when he's in the car and when he's not, because you can hear when the dogs are barking, and when they're not, there's an echo, which means he's in the vehicle. And I'm telling you, when I get a chance, I'm going to break this down into a short video.
I know I did.
I'd like to play, Doug, the Colleton County portion of the 911 call, which is in evidence as Defendant's Exhibit Number 9. And Doug, this is the long version, the first clip, and stop it when I say stop it, please.
Okay, I'm going to play just a little bit of it so you can hear. I'm sure if you guys have seen my videos, we know he's in the car for multiple reasons. You don't hear the dogs barking, and you hear an echo.
2021, 22 hours, 7 minutes, 9 seconds.
Still here, okay?
So this is where they're supposed to be playing the long version, but they skip it forward. I don't know if you guys noticed this. This is not the beginning of the 911 call, because he's already transferring it over to the operator. I wonder if they did this on purpose, because that takes, I don't know, I'll have to look at the timing, but that takes a good 15, 20 seconds off while he's in the vehicle. So it would add, because then, eventually you'll start hearing the dogs barking when he's talking to this new operator. So I wonder if they did this on purpose. If you guys caught that. It's not the very beginning of the 911 call, which I find very interesting. Let's see, what time is it? Oh my gosh, time is flying. Steve's going to have a show at 6, and I don't want to run into his. Let's see here. I got it. Okay, I think I have it here in my video. Alex was in the SUV. You do hear an echo for the first 30 seconds of the 911 call.
Alex Murdoch at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child got badly.
Then Alex would. So that's the first part of the call, and then she'll transfer it over. But yeah, that echo is obviously, and of course you don't hear the dogs barking, but eventually, 30 seconds into the call or something like that, eventually you'll start hearing the dogs barking. I've got to go back. I'm going to go time that as well. You'll hear the dogs barking for a bit. And of course, as soon as you hear the dogs barking, you don't hear the echo because he's not in the car. But then it goes back to the echo again. Clearly, he gets back in the vehicle. So I'm going to have to time this and see. But like I said, it don't add up. And so as we're kind of finishing up here, because I don't want to run into Steve's show, because I'm sure he's got an amazing show put together for you guys.
The corn and
I don't know if I can find it. Anyway, one of the last things that I wanted to touch on is he talks about he gets blood on his fingertips. And then one of the things that people were talking about that think, he is innocent, and, you have every right to, if you think he's innocent, you have every right to. I'm not on board with it. After looking at the evidence, I feel he's guilty. But he clearly says that in this, on the stand, he says he did not wrap up that hose, but he had blood on his fingertips, and he's supposed to be doing this while he's on a 911 call. And so I even put in the comments, I'm like, well, how did he clean his hands? And everybody's like, well, not everybody, but there was a lot of people, they're like, well, he used the hose. Well, obviously he didn't use the hose, because according to Alex, he says the hose was put away. So you can't have it both ways. Either the hose is put away, or, so if you've got blood on your fingertips, and like I said, if anybody's had a cut finger, even just one cut finger, you get blood everywhere. Like I said, I cut my finger on a can, and I didn't know at the beginning, and we were inside my car, and I got blood all over the place, just by a little cut on my, middle finger here. And so he's supposed to be handling this phone and getting in and out of his vehicle. Look at OJ. OJ, had blood on the Bronco and stuff. And anyway, I don't get it into that. But anyway, I just think it doesn't add up to me. If you've got blood on your fingertips, fingernails, whatever, if you've got it on your fingernails, you've got it on you, and how you don't transfer it to your pockets or to the phone, to me, doesn't seem plausible, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. What is Steve's channel called, please? And thank you. Yeah, it's pinned at the top. It's True Crime Web. It should be at the top of the chat. He's going to be starting at on the hour. And he's the one that's been doing a lot of the control tests. Has done an amazing job, and we've been collabing. And of course, we're going to be doing a lot more stuff. But Candace Soto, awesome job as always. Thank you so much, Candace. I really appreciate it. And like I said, please, if you can, hit that like button. It's free. It helps this channel out. And I just can't thank you guys enough for taking the time to watch this channel. I wish we could have gone on longer, but I don't want to run into Steve's show because I'm sure he's got a great show for you. But what we got coming up is we've got probably an alternative theory to when Maggie's phone might have been tossed. And now knowing that he admits that he's taken this golf cart, kind of even more solidifies this possible theory that mainly Steve came up with. I just kind of backed him up on it, but could be a secondary scenario of when he tossed the phone, because the prosecution thinks that he did it when he was leaving and he threw it out the window, and it still could be that, but there could be a second alternative, which actually kind of fits nicely with some steps that are taken and some orientation change. And so I'm excited to show you guys. We did a test on it, and it seems plausible. So I'm really excited to show you guys that. I should have that tomorrow. So final thoughts. I'm just going to see what you guys have here. Tomorrow's going to be big. I'm liking how ruthless prosecution is on him. Great start to finish the night today. And so I think he had him so scared that Harpootlian wanted to try to butt in with one of his expert witnesses just to kind of, kick into his momentum a little bit. So hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be enough though in the end. Come on, Chris, you have a great show. Thank you so much. Oh, I know. I wish I could go longer, but I don't want to be rude and run into his show. He's done such an amazing job. So thank you, Rainy Days. Thank you. I know I have a few new members. I will have a members only video coming out either tonight or most likely tomorrow. So I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are so amazing. Thank you, Walkie Talkie. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate your hard work. This is a great show. Thanks. Thank you, Depot. And hopefully we'll be live tomorrow as well, at a little bit later time. So, oops. You're an awesome creator. Thank you, Cammie. I wish I could get to everybody. Thank you, Miss. Prosecution did great. Yeah, they really touched on some of those stories about the people he stole money from. Yeah, it breaks my heart. Thank you, Pamela. You're so awesome. So true, SH. So true. Yep. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I'm going to get the outro ready for you guys, and we'll be back on tomorrow. And like I said, hopefully I'll have that live or that video put out sometime midday for you guys. So you guys are amazing, and we will see you guys tomorrow.